So I wanted to make a video encouraging people watching this, or people trying to recover from chronic illness, to try different things. That was a really important part of the recovery journey for me. So I wanted to put that out there and encourage you. If there's something that you haven't tried, and it can be anything. I really think there's value in like trying alternative methods or whatever. So just to speak from my experience, I had to try a lot of different things, and I think a lot of different things helped in different ways. So early on in my recovery journey, I was working with a psychologist. So I was doing therapy. I did that for a few months, and that was important. At the time, I was like, it helps a bit. It's not amazing, but it helped to bring up stuff for me to work through on my own, and bring stuff to light that I would have struggled to see through myself. So there was that. Then a little bit after that, I was working with a physiotherapist who, she was like a holistic physiotherapist. So it wasn't just physical physiotherapy rehab stuff. It was more like looking at this holistically, and that really helped me to see how this was bigger than just physical health. There were so many different factors that go into like the wiring of the nervous system and the things that can cause the body to respond in this way, that can ramp up the nervous system to the level where it's responding to everything as a threat, and it's like addressing those things. So that was a different kind of work. It was like, I'm trying to remember what it all was, but yeah, it was almost like therapy as well, but like in a different way. But it was with a physiotherapist. But it was, because it was holistic, it was like a lot of value stuff, and like how is this, like what do I need to address, and that kind of stuff. Again, helping me to see things through a different lens that I wasn't seeing on my own. And then after that, so that was kind of early on, a lot of that stuff, and it was still, when I was struggling a lot before, let's say, I found like started getting better, and then after watching a lot of recovery stories, I decided to try like a brain retraining neuroplasticity course, which at first I was very skeptical of, and I was like, it was kind of expensive, and there was the skeptical part of me that was like, yeah, it's probably a waste of money, like what benefit is going to come of this. But then, because I've been struggling for so long, and throughout this, like the more, like I started to become more authentic with myself, I guess, and like realize that what is keeping me back, and I realized like that attitude was keeping me back. I was like, I've got to try things. I've got to put myself out there, and if I really want to recover, like, is the attitude of this isn't going to work more likely to help me recover, or is like, let's take from this what we can? So I tried that, and that helped in its own way. Like I learned from there, and that got me to a certain point. And along with this, I'll emphasize the willingness to let go. So the willingness to try and to open to new things. At the same time, the willingness to move on from something when the time is right. So, I did therapy for a few months, and then at a time I felt like, okay, I feel like I need to take this on my own now. Like talking to this person is, I know what I need to do. I could feel it. And then the same with the physiotherapist. It was like we tried different techniques and, different activity scheduling methods and stuff. But I realized that like only I knew what was going to work for me. So I had to let go of that. Then it was the brain retraining course, and it gave me certain techniques, and it helped me get in touch with certain things. But again, I realized that, applying this rigidly, this program that somebody else had come up with, it wasn't right. I needed to follow what I needed. So it's like an opening up and then a letting go, I suppose. So a willingness on both sides, like a willingness to try something new. And then eventually I tried a meditation retreat, because meditation was something that throughout this process was serving me a lot. Like it was helping with the physical symptoms a lot, like calming the nervous system, calming the body. Like whenever I was able to get myself to sit and meditate for a while, it really helped. And then throughout this process, I got, more, the more I read about it, the more I learned about it, the more I practiced, the more interested I became in the deeper aspects of it. So it kind of really was like where this whole thing was pushing me. Like I was investigating the present moment more and more. So I was like really considering a meditation retreat, and it seemed like a good idea. It was a silent retreat with like yoga and that kind of stuff, and I was like, this is probably a good thing. It was like all the type of stuff I was trying to do to calm my nervous system, and it was away from distractions. Like for me, the battle was always like not distracting myself and putting myself, in stillness, and feeling what needed to be felt, and not distracting. So it was like, that's what I needed to do. But there was still resistance to it. Like it was a big jump. It was like, I was still struggling a lot with symptoms, and I would have ups and downs and flare-ups when I was doing something. So like driving 4 hours to a meditation retreat, like that was a big deal. But again, I had to try something new, and I did that, and it was really impactful, and it helped a lot. And then, things like going for massage. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that can help with recovery, and you just got to try them. And all of these things that I've said, it might not be what you need to try. It might be like just, I would encourage to like look outside. Like if you're really stuck and you're really still struggling, to look outside. Like it may be some other things that can assist you, that maybe you try like different ways to bring up emotion, like to work through the emotions, because that is a really important part of it. And just really, you got to put yourself out there and try different things. Yeah, that helped me a lot, is just trying things. And because when I was really stuck, it was like I was hyper focused on like, oh, I have to do pacing, and it's the only way to recover is to avoid crashes and to avoid symptoms. And there was like this whole like chronic fatigue syndrome mindset that I think it's what you'll find online is like the recommended, a lot of people recommend, but a lot of those people are still very stuck. So it was like broadening different ways of trying. It's like, okay, I tried that for a long time and I couldn't do the pacing and it didn't work. So let's try something else. But yeah, like, as I've said many times before, it was really the inner work that was more important for me. Like what beliefs are keeping me stuck? As I've said in other videos, working with resistance, working with those kind of things. But at the same time, there are things that can assist you with this. So like, going for a massage, get into the body, try all these different things. Yeah, I'd recommend it, even if it's scary. Like I needed somebody at different stages to tell me like, it's okay, you can try this. So I'm hoping that I can maybe encourage other people, like try it. Like if you're thinking of trying something but you're not sure if it's too much or if it's a bad idea, I'd encourage you to try it. And maybe there will be a flare up. It's highly possible when you're trying new things, when you're stepping outside of this like small safe space that you get stuck in, I guess. Yeah, you can have flare ups, but it was an important part of my recovery journey. So I just want to encourage anybody. Yeah, and one more thing that really helped me was like cold water immersion. So like going for really cold swims in the ocean, like really cold. That was also something like I was scared at first, and then like when I was working with the physiotherapist, we're like, no, like try it, introduce it, and it was something I carried with me for a long time with the recovery journey. Like whenever I was really struggling, just going into really, really cold water, it was tough, but it was just like, it like really helped in many different ways to like get more comfortable with the uncomfortable situations, to learn to like adapt my body, because it's like a stress response when you get into cold water, right? So the body learns to like relax in stressful situations. That was it about. It was like bringing on some stress in like the cold water and then like relaxing into it. So yeah, that's just another thing that like stepping out, trying different things. And yeah, as I said, like there were times when early on when I was like, oh no, this is too much. Like my body's getting like this is highly stimulating. It's like bad for my nervous system or whatnot. But then that was just like initial fear response, and then working through that. So yeah, that's just a brief video. I encourage you to feel in for yourself and trust yourself. You know, if there's something you feel like you need to work through, like what are you not facing? What could you try that you're unwilling to try? I'd encourage you to go there.